this is just the same deck we've been playing. We've gone through a lot of different versions where the main deck stays almost exactly the same. If we don't want to splash a card, and usually I think you want your splash card in the sideboard, we just play one Fountain, one Watery Grave for Lurrus. If we want to splash like black for Kolaghan's Command, we play obviously Watery Graves. Today I'm playing Hallowed Fountains for Katakis. But it's just effectively been the same deck, what we played in the challenge last weekend, and I've been liking it a lot. I like this main deck a lot too. Doom's one trophy ahead. Yeah, I saw. That's why I'm playing my most powerful deck today. Alright, I can keep this. Warning Probe. What do you think are the tier 1 decks of the meta? Tier 1's kind of a hard thing to define because it's got to be like the most popular decks played. I would say that it's like Amulet and Affinity / Hardened Scales. I kind of want to lump those decks together. I would say like those are the two decks I would recommend really being prepared for, but the rest of the format is a little bit all over the place. Speaking of Amulet, got absolutely crushed by this yesterday when I was on Storm. Yeah, this deck's pretty good. Have I been liking Kataki? This is my first draft of it. I was afraid of getting Asmo to Blast. Guess we have Counter Magic. Yeah, you also have like answers for Asmo. I feel like it's a good answer. It's also like better against the Affinity decks and the Hardened Scales decks than it is against the food decks. Is definitely true. So that's like that's something to think about. I guess it's also true against Scales. They've got jeez, Amulet is so scary. You can't Unholy Heat this. We just really have nothing to do here but die. Is this deck bomb red? No, it's Jeskai. I don't know why it's. I don't know. I'm sure it was my fault. All right, dead to Titan. We do get to Alpine Moon there, Urza Sagas of this matchup, hopefully. And Holy Heat also is Swords of Plowshares once you get Delirium. Okay. Oh, not okay, because they have another land drop, another Growth Chamber. Wait, this is only 5 mana. No, they're floating one. They're already floating one. Okay. They got their Titan. Let's go ahead and pack it in. Fast game. Get to bring in a couple of copies of Aether Gust. We get to bring a couple copies of Unholy Heat. 2 copies of Alpine Moon. We get to cut the Lightning Bolts. We get to trim on Iteration. And then we can decide, do we want Engineered Explosives for their tokens? I think I'm just going to have Alpine Moon as my Saga Hate. We can also just fly over them. This matchup's kind of weird where like Ragavan is like super duper good against them. Counterspell is really effective. But they're just like best draws are so hard to beat. On the play. Sands would be so good if this Alpine Moon was just another land. I have to mulligan, I think. I like this hand a lot. Let's go ahead and keep it. Let me put back, I think, Basic Island. And then I think we'll just play Steamvint's untapped, of course, play Channeler. But I'm going to save the Bauble for next turn so I can trigger both Sprite Dragon and Channeler. We're dead. It's a good draw. I'm looking for a land here. Definitely get a Graveyard Snapcaster. Now, when we cast one of these instants, the Channeler will get Delirium. They have a forest on the top of their library. Let's see what we draw. They're going to chump block the 1/1? I guess that makes sense because this is going to get flying. Another dragon. I have an amulet? Looks like it. Oh, it's a grazer. Oh, we lose. Does prismatic ending make sense somewhere in the 75? I feel like with Unholy Heat, you just don't need prismatic ending as much. Ending's fine, but it's like the white splash is also really light, so I feel like, oh, it's the first time I'm getting to do this, and we have a land on top. Screw you, Urza Saga. And this not only kills that Urza Saga, but it kills all of them for the rest of the game. Yeah, you can play Prismatic Ending, but I really think I just prefer to make the splash very, very light. And steal a Boreal Grazer. Amazing. How long do I click Urza's Tower by mistake? Surprised it didn't already happen with how I've been playing lately, huh? Kind of want to go Dragon plus Counterspell next turn. Alright, that lets us do that. Channeler is Delirious. Karn is countered. Right, two pretty lopsided games. Now I have to play on the draw. Seeing Karn, I'm a little more interested in Lightning Bolt. Can also like kill a Grazer to get Ragavan through. Play like one bolt over the second iteration. Iteration's kind of hard to play in this matchup, but first one's probably fine. This hand's close. I'm gonna mulligan. A little bit of a question: how often are you listing? I'm assuming that means you losing to pro red threats. I mean, some amount of the time. You have Snapcaster to block them. I know it's only a couple copies. You also have, you know, Lurrus, which I guess doesn't block Ariok Champion, but it definitely happens. But you also have like the flying creatures to fly over. Definitely happens though. Alright, we'll save the Bauble for the dragon. Although I might end up just holding up Counterspell this next turn if I'm afraid of Dryad. Probably more important to get my dragon down. We'll just find Unholy Heat and Delirium. They have a Grazer on top. Did not draw. Be really good for us if they just don't get like anything too good down here. Yeah, they do have Dryad. They also have the Valakut. 2 cards left. No land to put into play though, but this blocks the dragon. Ooh. I'd love to play the second dragon here. I think we can't afford to not hold up the Counterspell. It's really good to at least get to punch through the Grazer, though. Let's see what they're drawing. They're drawing another copy of Grazer. Can't believe my opponent's drawing so well. I could maybe have shocked to try to draw Archmage's Charm. I'm not sure. They could also be sandbagging lands, of course. Their hand is currently Grazer, 3 mystery cards. Thank you for your 13-month free subscription. Appreciate ya. Do I counterspell a Boreal Grazer? It, like, puts a counter on the dragon, and then also they're not casting it. Well, I guess don't have the option to. Oh, what a good draw. No chump block. Their hand is again Grazer, 2 mystery cards. Unlike they could be sandbagging a bounce land. We can maybe Gust Dryad if we're afraid of Valakut. No land put into play. All right, I'm going to gust the Dryad end of turn if my opponent just passes. And then the Grazers are going to get to block the Monkey pretty well. Be sad if they have Aether Gust, but their deck doesn't usually play Aether Gust. If we have foil Grazers are paid to win, what does Magic become? Put it on the bottom. Ooh, that's a good draw. I'm just going to hold that up rather than play the second dragon, of course. Then we get to steal the Grazer. The only line we have here. This gets Urza Saga. Sagas I feel like pretty fine though. I think I'm actually gonna steal the Grazer. Assuming my opponent just gets Saga, plays it, passes. Gets Cavern. Well, if they get Cavern, we can draw 2 and then try to have Snap Gust up. They're just not cracking it, which is weird. Yeah, if they played Saga, then maybe I'd try to pressure them a bit more, but here we can just try to have Snap Gust up. Oh my gosh. Hold. I mean... Okay, we don't have Snap Gust up. This is the reality. I mean, I guess I'm going to top, but... Do you think Saga's going to be banned? Probably not. We'll see. We exiled an Urza Saga. I guess we just, banned it. I don't know. Saga has felt really easy to beat. I can't see a world of Saga not getting banned for fitting and stuff way too freely. Yeah, but the card also is very beatable. I don't know. It also I don't think fits in that many decks. It's very good in Affinity and Scales and Titan. And then there are some Urza decks, and then when it's not in those decks, I haven't been super impressed by it. Okay, do we counterspell Dryad here, so that way they can't double Valakut my Sprite Dragon? I think so. I know that it can't be countered, but this makes the dragon a 7/7, which means that 2 lands doesn't kill it. I guess if they have Bounce Land Titan, though, they get to kill me. So maybe that was bad. Cavern on Dryad. I know they have Cavern on Dryad. I just want the counter on the Sprite Dragon to kill them. Maybe this was bad. Oh, no, they've already played a land this turn. They can't Titan. So, but they also couldn't have killed the Sprite Dragon, because they've already played a land. Dude, the third Grazer. The third Grazer lets them Titan. No. They're still one short. The third Grazer. They didn't float mana. They probably want to bounce this. I guess they could bounce the Cavern. But then I can go Snap Gust. They bounced the Chamber. I guess they can bounce Cavern next turn. 3 mana. They have another Dryad. To have 6, 8 damage next turn. 10. Oh, man. We're drawing a Scalding Tarn. And underneath that is Unholy Heat. So we're 1 short of going Snap, Serum Visions, Unholy Heat, Grazer, kill them. Do I think Grixis Shadow? Uh-oh. Can support 2 Kroxa, 4 counterspells. Maybe, yeah, just play no blue lands and no basic island. Okay, so next turn they have They pay. And then they'll only have... I guess they'll have enough mana to top deck Titan and kill me. 6, 10. We can block. Is there anything you can do if they draw Titan? I'm trying to figure that out. Because I feel like just going Ragavan, Snapcaster, target Gust, block means that they can kill. Yeah. It should mean that they can't kill me, I think. I'm not sure. Has to pay a pack. Yeah, they can still cast Titan. They have exactly enough. With or they have one more mana because they get their last card's a bounce land. And they have 3 land drops. Oh, they have 3 land drops. That's 9 damage. This means you can't fetch. Oh. Well, my top card is Unholy Heat. I can go Snapcaster, Serum Visions, Unholy Heat, but then I can't play Ragavan without fetch shocking. So probably better to play Ragavan, Snap Gust, Dryad in the draw step. And I just hope they don't draw Titan. How do land drops work with bouncing a Dryad? I guess we could wait till after the Dryad thing happens, but we're kind of priced into doing this anyways, right? Because they go, yeah. We just now that we're 9, we just have to gust a Dryad, and then they're gonna be a little short of killing me here, but I guess I'm also a little short of killing them, huh? Because I don't have double red for next turn. Stop Gust response to the first Valakut trigger. I mean, we have to Gust the Dryad at some point this turn, so it just doesn't matter when we do it. Like it's not like we can like play around anything here. Don't they just go face with all the Valakut triggers and kill us? Well, if we Gust a Dryad, they only get 2 Valakut triggers. Don't you have double red the treasure? I've used the treasure to cast the Gust. So right now, they can kill both creatures, attack for 2, or they can deal me 6, attack for 2. We are dead to top deck Titan. They top decked Amulet, does nothing. But we don't have lethal on the crackback unless if they kill both of my creatures here. But we have a lot, like we just have almost anything kills them. Unholy Heat counter. We shuffled. We don't have Unholy Heat on top anymore. They have 3 Valakut triggers. They only have 2. Why do they have 3? Because they can place like a Dryad. The Dryad is on top of their library. We gusted it in their draw step. Chat, I don't understand how... I mean, I know it's kind of a complicated board state, but it's just so funny to see, like, so many different comments that are all just wrong. So like any fetch land, any red land, any untapped red land, or any cheap spell kills us. This wins this turn. Let's go. Yeah, most of our cards there here won. Close match. Why do we shuffle? To play the monkey? Yeah, to play the monkey because the monkey eats a Valakut. Or either eats a Valakut or blocks. Hand's great. I think Channeler is good in Jund Bratado, but probably more so in a Shadow Shell. I just thought we got in there upkeep. Yeah. It was draw. It's fine. I'm not calling any specific person out. I'm just saying there were like 7 different comments about like reasons why my line was like wrong or why we were dead, and they were all different and they were all wrong, which was so weird to see like so many different. I just never seen chat be wrong in so many different ways at the same time. Usually like I'm the one wrong. If so many people are telling me that
What's up? It's me,
I've done something wrong or if I've died. But that time that wasn't the case. Hype to death. Thank you for your it's 500 bits. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, but usually if that many people are saying, ah, you're dead, then I am dead most of the time. It was just weird. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. I'm wrong constantly, you know? Absolutely nothing wrong with being wrong. Can you play Delver as a budget replacement for Monkey? Yeah, you can. That's definitely what it is. Budget replacement for Monkey. But that'll be okay. Alright, let's play Channeler, hold up Counterspell, I think. Probably bolt them end of turn if they do nothing. But I kind of would like to get a Fountain, give myself the outs to Lurrus this game. I saw that they have Thought Scour. I'm not sure what they're doing. They may be just blue-red Delver. Blue-red Phoenix, awesome. I kind of feel like Dragon Rage's Channeler is the best card in Modern Horizons 2. I know I've been saying this a little bit lately. I know I've been saying that a lot. I know that's like quite the hot take. This card just always feels so absurd when I play it. Like, actually, I mean, Urza Saga and Ragavan are probably the other two cards that you could, like, make an argument for, and that could end up, that statement, you know, probably will end up not being true in the long run, but at the time of making this comment, I kind of feel like DRC is the best card. 2MNM, thank you for your 7-3 sub, appreciate you. We did beat Titan, it was very close when we got there. How much more damage has it been dealing as compared to something like Swift Spear? Well, I think it deals comparable amounts of damage to Swift Spear, but of course, the surveillability is absurd. It's actually absurd. Especially in the mono-red Phoenix deck. In the mono-red Phoenix deck, it's extra absurd, where like you're just like, you have 10 cards in your deck that if you put them in the graveyard, you can either Arc-like Phoenix that you can get back, or it's like Lava Dart that you can cast immediately, or Maximize Velocity that you can cast immediately. And so like when you are surveilling for value, it's pretty ridiculous. I'm gonna counterspell this. I guess I'm gonna get another Steam Vents. And then any creature or sorcery turns on Delirium. We could maybe keep this double trigger Delirium. I think I'm just gonna graveyard it. Graveyard that too. They have Lava Dart. I guess we could force Lava Dart. Why most 5-0 is a Delver decks have Delver, not Ragavan? It has to be budget concerns. Ragavan is better. As much as I would love to draw that, if we graveyard it, we get Delirium. We could keep that. We can keep Ragavan. 2MNML, 5 gifted subs. That's awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, I've been thinking about DRC and Crooks a little bit too. It seems like there's probably something there. But I still want Ragavan. Probably do. If they like have a bolt here, then we get to kill them with Counterspell up. Was it worth bolting the upkeep for filter? Maybe. Maybe. I was probably supposed to have a stop on my upkeep and think about it a little bit more than I did. Lightning Axe discard Phoenix. They can't get their Phoenixes back, and we get to dash for lethal with Counterspell up. Your username is Falling Sky. Cool. I was wondering because I saw that there were a bunch of gifted subs, but I didn't recognize the username. Of course, I remember Falling Sky. Glad to see you back in chat, buddy. Okay, so we're playing against Phoenix. Let's bring in these lanterns. Unholy Heat can deal with Thing in the Ice. It's probably pretty important. Lightning Bolt doesn't seem like it's probably that good against them. Yeah, I feel like I kind of just want to play Heat over Counterspell here. Could play Gust. Gust is okay against Phoenix. Probably gonna leave the Gust at home. Play 1 Bolt. I'll play 1 Gust over the Bolts. Yeah, I just don't think Bolt's that good against them. Yeah, on the draw. Triple 1-drop. Keep this. Turn 2 Thing in the Ice is kind of bad. I guess we could just draw a shock. Have you seen the new ad nos decks of Profane Tutor? Yeah, I think they're fine. I think Profane Tutor's like, you know, better in that deck than in most combo decks. His ad nos is pretty good at buying time. They do have the Thing in the Ice, but are they brave enough to block? Yeah, they just have to block here. Well, Thing in the Ice is maybe gonna wreck us. Let's see. If you're able to show it, how this list with Regent should be for you. No Snap and no Sprite Dragons. I was playing some Sprite Dragons. I don't know if I still have the deck together. I mean, I really don't think that you should be playing Regent. I think Lurrus is better. Especially because Regent does have tension with your Delirium and your Snapcasters. Like, you really can't play Regent and Snapcaster in the same deck, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think I still have that deck list in my drafts. If only we could steal the flip there. Did I play my Sultai Valkyrie control deck? I've actually kind of transitioned that deck to be more Bant based with the inclusion of Brainstone, which is a card that deck wants to play in order to Brainstone is a card you want to play in order to shuffle Valky back in. We're also playing Terminus, and then Prismatic Ending is also like a bit better than Fatal Push. So we 5-0'd with it the other day. Had a pretty good run. No, you cannot steal Transform Thing in the Ice. I saw the YouTube video freezes at some point. Yeah, I did see that. I didn't upload it. It's all the editor. I'm sure it'll get taken care of. It's probably because my we had a power outage around then. But I went back and watched the VOD, and it wasn't like the VOD wasn't broken, so I don't really know why it did that. I'm gonna counter this. Maybe we get very lucky, and then they can't flip. I also get the double surveil. Graveyard. Thanks, Little Fit. Appreciate you too. Why do you prefer Kataki over something like Stony Silence? Isn't being a creature more of a liability against Asmo and Ballista? I mean, Kataki is way more powerful against the like Urza Saga Affinity decks. It just is a more powerful effect against them. But it's not like Stony Silence is better against the Asmo decks, but like I'm mostly playing this card as like a hedge against it's more of a hedge against like Affinity and Scales than against the food decks, but you know, that's okay. Like, not every card is good against everything. I also just kind of want to try it out. It's also true that Stony Silence in this deck turns off your treasure tokens, which is not the biggest deal, but is some deck building tension. And Stony Silence is just not very good against Affinity right now, I think. And Affinity is like really good and really popular, and you need to have a lot of hate cards for it. What's my favorite deck so far? Probably this one. I also really like the Bant Miracles deck that I was just talking about. Probably jumping with the DRC, assuming we get to survive. And then maybe Ragavan's going to get us out of this. I guess we could take one hit. Okay. I think it should be better for us in the play. Can't you steal Big Snake with Charm? Big Snake. You cannot steal Thing in the Ice with Charm if that is Big Snake. Yeah, I want the 4th iteration. Matchup maybe is a bit grindier post board. Yeah, it used to work that way. CMC flipped cards used to have 0 CMC, but now they have the CMC as their front side or mana value, whatever. I like Prismatic Ending over Serum in the deck. I just feel like Prismatic Ending is not that necessary when you have Unholy Heat. I also really like just not having any white cards on my main deck. Just like not needing to worry about fetching white till the late game. It's obviously not that big a deal to splash, but your mana is a lot better if you don't need to worry about fetching white until you need Lurrus. And then like just worried about it stretching the mana. I think I will get a white source here though. They have an island on top. Turn 2 Thing in the Ice would be scary again. Just haven't drawn Unholy Heat. They have double Manamorphose, just Debrade. Okay. That's fine. Let's just hold up Charm this turn. Next turn we can maybe go like Iteration, hold up Gust. Got Deck Tech for Blake. So web cards have the same mana cost to front side. I thought they banned Search for Visconta. It doesn't count for Devotion though. Doesn't count for Devotion. I kind of feel like Thoughtcast is worth not playing Umori in Affinity. I think Thoughtcast, like just Thoughtcast plus Thought Monitor is just so overwhelming. I think that you just want one Gingerbrute as a Urza Saga target too. I'm not also sold on the Paradise Mantle. I've seen people play that card, but I'm not sold on it, I guess. I need to hit a land here. I did hit a land, so let's go. Do I want Lantern or Ragavan? I think I'll take the Lantern. Just gonna hold up Counterspell Gust this turn though. I mean, I haven't played these decks, so it's kind of hard for me to comment so much. I kind of feel like Mishra's Bauble isn't even really that good in them. But I also don't know the number of correct artifact lands. I do think that Thoughtcast is better than Umori, but how exactly you're supposed to build it beyond that, I'm just not sure. I haven't really, again, had the opportunity to play these decks. Man, Iteration is just so good. Canister was running 4 Gingerbrute, a more aggro version. Yeah, but this isn't a more aggro version. Oh, I also see that you're not playing the assist, the 3 mana living weapon, a +1/+1 for all artifacts. I would be playing 4 of that card. That card has seemed really good to me. Just feels like it just facilitates your game plan so well. I wouldn't main deck the Pithing Needle, I think. Would main deck the Shadow Spear. Probably wouldn't main deck Et's Champion. But again, I feel like you might have to go talk to Doomwake, someone who's been playing these decks. I think I'm gonna draw a card here. I'm gonna keep hitting my land drops while they're missing theirs. Alright, probably a good turn to play Dragon, right? Dragon, Bauble, Lantern. Or should I just hold up Gust plus Counterspell? Probably should get the Lantern down. If they kill this, I'm not that worried. We're really ahead on cards. Maybe not that ahead. Is it Charm? I'll just let that go. Am I ahead of cards? Yeah, I have 3 more lands than my opponents, and then they have, after we crack the Bauble, they're gonna have, 2 more cards in hand. We're ahead in cards, yeah. We have double Iteration this game. I'm not sure. I think I'm supposed to target this because of like finale, but probably doesn't matter that much. I've been not playing Expressive Iteration by more instant speed since sorcery might seem really high in it. Is it generally just a good card to jam and is it? Yeah, when you have a low curve and you're an is it deck, you probably just want to play it. It's also like definitely true that this deck is a Dragon Rage's Channeler Unholy Heat deck and needs to have sorceries for Delirium. And Iteration is really, really strong. The card is really, really good. You're pretty happy to get to play it, I think. Yeah, I think I still don't mind trading 1-for-1 here. We just have Lurrus, we've got Snapcaster Mage. I think we're doing okay if this dies. Thanks, Dark Horse. Appreciate you. I guess if you're on mute, you can't hear me. So, chat reply. Ah! Could maybe actually have let that resolve. Gusted it end of turn. It's pretty bad if, like, we gusted end of turn, they is a charm trigger it, though. They put it on top. It's kind of bold against the Soul Guide Lantern. Maybe it's fine against Lantern. I guess I'll Force of Negation. Eliza gifting 20 subs. Eliza. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a good one. You want to hear the Harry MTG clip, or you're kind of over it? Feel great about yourself today. Happy to hear it, Eliza. Congrats. Play it, love the clip. Hell yeah, let's do it. It's been a while. It's been a little while. Bird.
Look at him, okay? He's revolutionized it. Look at him, averaging 800 fucking viewers in the Magic the Gathering category. He's carrying us. He's got a fucking hitchhiking backpack, and he's literally carrying the shit out of us. I'm literally here, going live at fucking 8 p.m, praying that Aspiring Spike isn't live, because I know that he's carrying this fucking category. He's literally carrying us. Think about it. My guy has literally got the biggest fucking balls on him to carry the fuck out of this fucking category. Magic Line is dying because once you don't give a shit, but Aspiring Spike is doing his work. He's fucking doing it. He's doing it, bro. You don't even understand what he's done for us. Literally, my guy has revolutionized what the fuck we're doing. I fucking love him.
Gotta play
People
Bauble
don't
so I
give
can
him
give
the
up
respect
Counterspell
that he
plus 4
deserves.
here.
Fucking respect Aspiring Spike. If you don't put him fucking respect to his name, I'm gonna slap you.
Such a classic. Oh, sorry. I meant to mute the notification sounds. I muted myself instead. Oops. They are playing Dart. I feel like if I counterspell, I'm not winning this fight. Not sure about this. It's like turns on dispute so well. It's not so bad. 2 cards left in their hands. Ooh boy. I didn't think that they were playing Lava Dart. Lava Dart and Blue Red is fine. It's kind of weird though, because I feel like you just like care about having lands in play way more than other versions do. I might draw a card up the lantern. I don't think I'm going to do so right now. If my opponent like bolts this, I'll probably draw a card in response. They have so much removal. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually like such a big problem that I think we need to find an answer to this. And then like a lot of our answers here are Counterspell. Although they only have 1 card in their hand, it was just a Canal. We could fly over. We could Unholy Heat. Is their opponent out of bolts? I think it was just 2? 3. Oh boy. Good morning, Vero. Thanks for the encouragement. Has anybody ever redeemed play standard? No. No. Everybody who's got 2 million has done the life decision. It's only been 2 so far. I was gonna do my second one, the second one for no beats this week. I might do it tomorrow. It might be next week. I might not have time to set up tonight. Got some plans with friends. Doing a vintage cube draft. Not great at checking those. So Nora, thank you for your 3-month resub. Appreciate ya. I kind of like keeping Force. Next week we could go Dragon, Force up, then try to Iteration for land, maybe. Is Kataki better than Hercules Recall when running Snap? Well, we only have 2 snaps. I think it is better, yeah. I think I'm going to still play Dragon with Force up. And then, let me just get a basic island, because I probably want to find a red source off of Iteration. So I don't want to take too much damage if I'm just going to do that anyways. Yeah, everybody who's hit 1,000,000 points has, you know, gambled for it. I wonder if they're playing Mono Red Phoenix. Looks like they are. Or something similar to it. Seems worthy of a Force of Negation. Sad. I guess we get to exile the dart. I should have left it. I'm not in the habit of letting this Surveil resolve. Although it's actually good to force before the Surveil resolves here because they could hit another dart, actually. But you're usually supposed to wait for that to resolve, I think. They did hit another dart. Gross. DRC is so good. Maybe I'll steal it. If I draw a land. Hand, bottom, exile. Steal, 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 steal. Yeah, definitely gonna steal that one. Yeah, so I saw like some people were playing Tarfires and what were they? They were like cutting like maximized velocities, which makes some sense. But I was also like pretty happy with velocity putting in the graveyard. But it's cool that people are like trying different takes on the Phoenix deck. There's obviously like a lot of ways you can build it. Always like seeing people trying out new things. I'll keep a fountain. They have it mounted on top. You've seen the Glimpse of Tomorrow deck people are playing around with? Yeah, I've seen it. It's okay. Pretty fragile, but not a bad deck, I think. It's pretty good. Discard Mountain, light up the stage. We've already used one Unholy Heat, which is one of our main answers to Reveler. I think we're just going to hold up Charm, play Fountain tapped here. Pretty scared of this Reveler. Thanks for your subscription, UB Pack. I've seen the Grixis Shadowless playing the Holy Monkey. Yeah. Seen some. Definitely feels like a good deck. Might steal that. I think I'm just going to take 5 if they don't do anything else. They'll probably at least start. Just taking 5. We might be able to raise. What was that? Yeah, you can take, just post a link in the chat, I'll take a look. Zerda, Karn, Urza, Stoneforge, Tarfire. So maybe we can find like land plus Snapcaster or just our second copy of Unholy Heat. Don't think that really gets the job done. Yeah, not super helpful, unfortunately. Hopefully my opponent's a little flooded. I might have to chump block. I hope not. So one nice thing when you play Stoneforge Mystic with alright, so they can bolt me down to 9. This is 4 power, and then Lightning Bolt is not lethal, so they have to have 2 spells here. Right? 9, 4. They have to have 2 spells to kill me. I think I'll just take it. Yeah, well, so one nice thing about playing Stoneforge Mystic and Urza together is getting to play the... they're going to Tarfire this, so that's good, I guess, that I'm not dead. Is you get to play the Sword of the Meek Thopter combo in this shell. That's always, I think, been like a big upside to playing Stoneforge Mystic plus Urza, and so I might be looking to do that if I was going to play this deck. Graveyard, can we please find... I guess that's gonna have to work. Yeah, I guess we just double bolt the Reveler, hands, bottom, exile. Yeah, not gonna quite be able to kill. Could probably keep Monkey. Monkey's fine, I think. They don't have any darts left. So you just kind of think about doing that. I'm not sure that that's definitely where you want to be. It's just something to think about. I kind of would like to see some more interaction in this deck. I feel like you're maybe a little light on interaction here. And so, like, I don't know that you can necessarily afford to play Counterspell or Cryptic Command with Urza Saga. Maybe if you play like 25 lands, which is also maybe fine because Saga's a more like a spell than a land. 4 Expedition map seems a bit high also if you're not playing like the Yavimaya to try to make Gingerbread Cabin work, so I don't think you need 4 of those. I guess Karn's kind of interaction. Maybe you don't actually. Yeah, Karn's... Never mind. I don't think you need the counter spells if you have Karn. Might play 4th Explosives though. Explosives is solid right now. Might not. I also feel like Ragavan is really good in these decks. I know that you lose Zerda, but Zerda's like not really all that. I probably would play Ensnaring Bridge. The card just like gets you out of so many sticky situations. I think those are my thoughts. All right, let's bring in the Heats and the Gusts. So I think that Sprite Dragon is the worst threat again in this Lava Dart matchup. I know that it gets bigger than Dart, but just like When they dart your Ragavan, it's a good exchange for them, but it's like very different for them to dart your 1 mana threat as opposed to your 2 mana threat, you know? We might be a little too light on threats though if we side like this. It might be a little too light actually. What if we did something like 3 Ragavans, 2 dragons? Maybe 3/3. 1 force. I don't think I want explosives. Maybe I do want explosives. Maybe not on the draw. I don't think you have Zerdos Saga anyways. Doesn't Zerdos say non-land? Saga also has activated abilities. Oh, does it? Oh, hold on. Does Zerdos say non-land? Each permanent card in deck has to have an activated ability. Oh, wow. Huh. Yeah, I guess Ursa Saga doesn't have activated abilities. It's weird. I guess we don't know that they're definitely playing Phoenix. They could just be mono red prowess. I can play 1 lantern. I can keep this. Charm is really good against them. Nice to have a turn 1 burn spell. Channeler is so good. Ah, so good. Okay, I'm seeing Metamorphose. I guess that doesn't really give us that much info. I guess I'll use Lightning Bolt on Channeler since I'm a bit scared of like not being able to not being able to Lightning Bolt Bedlam Reveler. This could be wrong. Isn't Bop and Paradise Mantle infinite damage with Zerda? Bop and Umbral Mantle is infinite damage. I'm probably just gonna have to kill one of these anyways. Not being able to double spell this turn does feel bad. I guess I could actually go... I could dash the Monkey. I feel like I'm actually pretty happy to trade Monkey for a Soulscar Mage here. Yeah, this is fine. Yikes. For 5? They only have 2 cards left. I mean, if one of them is a Reveler, we're kind of screwed. Yikes. Well, maybe I could find explosives. Only brought in 1. I think I probably want the second one on the play, though. Hand, bottom, exile. Play this. Kill Mage, I guess. Probably gonna have to go to the next game. We got some outs. We're at, our life total's not that low. If their hand's kind of bad, maybe. We draw land here like Channeler, Steel Channeler, or something. Untap land. Draw an untap land. So we can Steel Channeler. We can go Snap, Heat. Probably Stealing Channeler. Just do it now so they can't Surveil. We have 2 cards left. We're dead to Dart. 8. Yeah, we're dead to Dart. Not dead to Bolt. Technically, go to 1. Alright, I guess we'll go Channeler plus Heat plus Counterspell. Yeah, I love this deck too, Beagle. I think it's very good, and it's also like been incredibly fun to play. Might stabilize. I don't know. Probably not. Looks like we're gonna get to untap. Graveyard this, I guess. You get to draw 2 cards. This was a very good exchange for us. Does think that if we monkey, we can't hold up snap counterspell. How's the white versus splashback feeling? It's exactly, it's not a big difference at all. Please don't overthink the white versus black splash, chat. It's really, really just the same deck, just kind of choosing to play slightly different sideboard cards. It's really, really just not a big deal at all. No cards change from the main deck, it's just small sideboard changes. Don't overthink it. I think it's very difficult to splash both colors in this deck, though. You played tested Jeskai Ephemerate from 2 weeks ago before. Well, good to hear. It's kind of down on that deck. I actually have a possible Ephemerate deck for later today, though. Alright, we need them to brick this turn. If they brick, then we're actually just like in very good shape. Have a good chance to even kill them next turn. Keep that, though. Alright, need them to brick. And by brick, I mean just any non-Reveler or non-burn spell. Or Phoenix. Ah. Close game. Thought we had a chance there. Let's bring that in. I haven't seen Phoenix yet. I think I'm just not going to play the Lantern. I want the 4th Ragavan on the play, too. Alright, let's go. The color combo is Naya. Okay, let me pull up this deck. I feel like I know I've been kind of teasing another Toski deck, right? I feel like I've got a draft that I like. The big payoff, right, is that you can Imperial Recruiter for Toski. Doesn't sound so sick. Sounds really sick, I think. And then you also like get to be a Magus of the Moon Riders deck, so you're not like just super cold to like big mana combo decks. And then you're also a good Yorion deck because you have so many tutors, so your sideboard cards aren't shitty. So we might play this later. This looks like just a pile of your favorite cards. Yeah, maybe it is. I feel like it looks kind of good to me. I want to try it out. Yeah, it does seem sweet. I agree. Just want to play more recruiter decks. How is it you explain the same things again and again? Like why you don't play Jeskai Triome? Does it drive me crazy? I don't know. It's just like any other job. Just like being a teacher. It doesn't drive me crazy, no. Every job has, you know, repetitive tasks. They have a DRC on top. Yeah, we'll always have Vile, which is good too. I feel like it's a good Yorion deck. Wait, Swift Spear after Bauble? I guess they just kind of read the Lightning Bolt, huh? Yeah, it's not on the Stream Decker yet. I just wasn't sure if I was going to play it today, but I think I probably will. We know our opponent has DRC. They're just playing Lanterns. Fine. I'm going to gust the Mage. Lantern isn't even that good against me, right? Yeah, I feel like it's not that good. Alright, need to hit a land here. I kind of feel like we're not going to. Yeah, I was feeling like I wasn't going to hit one. Since like I have been hitting on all my other iterations. At least we get the 2-for-1. It's like I feel like we're kind of due to miss on a land. Probably doesn't make any sense. But explosives is just probably going to be a great blowout if we draw a land because we know they have DRC. They might have another one drop, and then they do at least have the Lantern. There's the land. So if we can get them to play 2 1-drops here, maybe like, I mean, obviously 3 would be absurdly lucky. Wait, do they not have Channeler? Didn't we bobble them on turn 1? Okay, there's the Channeler. Why wouldn't you want to get your Surveil, though? We could steal. Could steal. Could also just bolt, play Ragavan. They get to just draw a card off their Lantern. They bubble my bolts? Maybe, I think I'm just gonna steal. DRC is just so good. Let's get it like strong 2-for-1 here. Be pretty nice. Yeah. And like this was like pretty likely to happen, so maybe we like maybe they're light on removal for my guy. Kind of bad if they have Blood Moon, I guess. Kind of hard to play around that. Also, they're not sacking their Islet. They only have one card in their hand. I kind of just want them to never sack their stupid Lantern. Like, Lantern just doesn't do that much against me. I should probably just play Explosives, though. I can crack it in their combat stuff to play around Swift Spear, but I think it's probably better to do it in their upkeep. Tap their mana for the Lantern. And then also, like, maybe, like, restrict their Surveils. He gets countered by Lantern. Oh, that's true, yeah. Wait, they exile my graveyard instead of drawing a card? Maybe they have Reveler. I don't know. Reveler kind of would make sense for them to have, right? They have two sorceries and instant sorceries in the yard. Doesn't seem like that much, huh? I think I'm gonna dash. Okay, just a Tarfire. Alright, we're doing pretty good. They have no cards in their hands. They, forgot to reveal Giganta. It seems like they're just mono red prowess. I don't think that they're Oh, they definitely have Reveler. They 100% have Reveler. They started to pay costs. They're one short, but they definitely just drew Reveler. So we need to like find a counterspell, I guess. They exile my yards. There's no counterspell there. I suppose I just Lurrus. And then hope they draw a creature this turn. They definitely drew Reveler. Damn it. We don't have Delirium yet either. We need a sorcery or an artifact. Yeah, I feel like we needed to fade the Reveler for like a one more turn. I think the Jeskai Monkey Blade has the power to stay in Modern as an outlier in the challenge. That deck's good, fine. The deck's fine. Do I force this? I think I do. It's like pretty good against every card in my hand. So probably worth forcing. I have one card left. If it's another Reveler, I'm just pissed. Okay. Okay, that's Delirium. That's Delirium. Breathe in easier. Breathe in easier. Alright, I mean, if they like Lava Dart, maybe I'll fetch Shock on Unholy Heat, but I probably just want to get a tapped Fountain so I can Lurrus. You can go like Lurrus, Ragavan, Unholy Heat, Swift Spear this turn. They only have one card left. Pretty good match. Don't need to heat yet, I think. Any field of Ruin Counselors? You can off of Ragavan. No, just get Trump because you want every land on tap for turn 1 plays? Yeah. Yeah, tap lands are pretty sus in this deck, in my opinion. I don't feel like they can get this up to 6 toughness. Maybe if they find mutagenic growth, they can, though. Channeler Dart. It's pretty good. But they might have to go like they might have to kill Lurrus with this dart. If their last card is another removal spell, then they're kind of back in it. I don't know, we're pretty ahead. No, there's just too much aggro in my opinion to want. They have another. Oh golly, Reveler is so good. There's too much aggro in my opinion to justify to justify any fiery islets. That card has like a really high cost associated with playing it, in my opinion. We do get to hit them with the monkey. It'd be really good if we could find a good card to cast here, like Light Up the Stage or a threat. Okay, that's at least a card. What color combo should we make? Just blue-blue? Blue-red? We need blue-blue for charm, and if we find a red drop, we could just cast it off the treasure. Alright, so they've got 3 cards back in their hands. Let's see if they have like a third Reveler. Soulscar Mage? What's the last card? It's a spell. Its spell is Lava Dart to kill both of my creatures. Gross. I guess I want to get that dart out of their hand. I'll attack. Do you prefer Bolt or Heat in the meta? I mean, I'm playing more Bolts than I'm playing Unholy Heats, but... I'm playing more Bolts than I'm playing Unholy Heats. But I'm playing 4 in the 75. 2 Heat main, 2 side. But Heat is really good. Alright, we need into brick for like 1 draw step ever. So blocking is bad against Dart exactly. Or Tarfire. There's no blocks, right? Cool. Alright, big draw step. Surveil 1 equal to draw a card. Brick. They drew a spell. Spells Light Up the Stage into Fiery Islet Bauble. 2 more redraws. Life total is real low too. Alright. We need to draw spells so badly. We have so many draw 2s with Iteration and Archmage's Charm. At least that's a spell. They have Lava Dart to get to kill both of my guys. They have Tarfire. At least that's not going at my face. But just getting 1 for 1 after my opponent like just drew 2 cards doesn't feel super good. My opponent only has 18 cards left in their library. Oof. That feels good. Okay, they're finally out of gas again. No, sorry, they drew a card off Bauble. They just never run out of gas. It's impossible. Right, we get to graveyard, target. What about Expansion Explosion? Yes, of course. Whenever you're flooded out, that's when you're supposed to suggest terrible, uncastable spells. Do I want to draw this Channeler? Probably do. I guess I'll play the Strand in case they play something on my end of turn that makes me like need to draw like Charm or something. How many Charms have I drawn this game? Only 1. So I have 3 Charms in the deck. I don't know. Channeler's like pretty good draw. They play the land from Light Up the Stage. They have a spell. That spell is another Light Up the Stage. To reveal 2 more 1-drops. So we're dead to some spells. We're dead to Lightning Bolt at any point this game if we don't have a counter spell. We have one. We did put another Explosives in the deck, right? They have bolts. It's a frustrating match. But a good match, though. Opponent has revealed Lurrus. I think we're going to lead on Serum Visions. Bottom both of these. Thoughts on the Grief Blade list running the Archon Cruelty Reanimator package? Seems doable. Probably not probably not Blade though. I think you probably need to cut your Stoneforge Mystic package to find room for the reanimation package. Play Liliana with the Veil too. Opponent deep in the tank about their turn 1 play. Decides to play Island Brainstone. Cool. See what version of the Brainstone deck they are. Could this deck play Watergrave instead of Fountain and play on Earth? Yeah. Yes. Probably don't want to commit 2 threats into a possible Terminus. But opponent makes me not too worried anymore. Just steal Brainstone. Seems kind of great. I'm not playing my list. The only line you can never take. Get to like Brainstone away the Unholy Heats. Oh, they did reveal Lurrus as companion, so they're definitely playing a version of the Bant deck. Maybe like with Yindrik's idea of playing Mystigate and basic planes instead of just no basic planes. Did Yindrik post a list? I remember seeing one. I accept this trade deal. Oh boy. Let's go snap Serum Visions here. Just 2 for 1 into 2 for 1. I'd like to just immediately draw a land. It's okay if we don't though. Monkey's fine. So is Iteration. I think I'll keep both of these. Yeah, did Yindrik? Whoa. I didn't see this. Well, it's pretty like this isn't like the Miracles version, but I really dislike only 1 Valky, but the Culling Ritual is really cool. Yeah, I think we're just 1 Valky like way too light on win cons. This Riptide Laboratory is also like the greediest shit I've ever seen. In your 4-color Archmage's Charm Counterspell deck. I like the Crime Punishment. Would I say my best deck has been thus far since MH2? Maybe this one. Maybe the Bant Miracles deck too, though. I like that deck a lot. Dashing's pretty good against Archmage's Charm. Yeah. Yeah, that's just the greediest shit ever, though. Riptide Laboratory in that deck. But it was a cool list for sure. Pretty creative. Yindrik's lists always are super creative and good. And the mana bases are... Actually, the mana bases are usually good. Just that one particularly felt pretty greedy. We're way ahead on cards this game. We're about to, like, even pull further ahead. Yeah, I really like the Mono Red Phoenix deck. I thought the CFB video of it was gonna come up yesterday. I guess it's gonna come up today. It's kind of bad against a sweeper, but we're just so ahead on cards. I think we're okay committing multiple threats. We also have Unholy Heat for Colonnade. I like the philosophy of pushing the limits of greediness and pulling back when it falters. It's not a bad idea. Oh, they definitely... Why didn't they target Charm? I guess they just feel like they're going to block the monkey, but I have Unholy Heat here. So I guess let's go... Yeah, I'm pretty okay just committing... committing a lot of threats here against an opponent who just has a Brainstone. I guess they also have Lurrus. But we have Lurrus, we've got Ragavan, this is fine. So yeah, good decision here to Brainstone, so they get to control what I exile with Ragavan. Breeding Pool. So they are, you know, Bant brings to light, and then they just concede because they must have messed up. I guess they must just be Brainstone locked. That's actually probably what happened there. So I guess we're just going to cut the heats for gusts, because we did see Breeding Pool, so they are a Bring to Light deck. Gust is not really good against them, though, but it's like probably better than Unholy Heat, at least. How's Blight versus White Splash going? Don't... The black and the white splash is it's exactly the same deck. Like, please don't overthink the black versus white splash. Either way, like, you don't even need to splash a card. It's just like the Katakis, I think, are better than Kolagon's commands right now, but it's just like such small margins. It really is like almost imperceptible. The deck is like it's just like a couple sideboard cards changing whenever we switch the splash. Don't overthink it. Like, the main deck is staying exactly the same besides the shock lands, which both cast Lurrus. It's really the exact same deck. Alright, can't mulligan, turn 1 monkey. Yeah, people ask about the Jeskai Triumph, which I think is bad. For those of you who don't know. Just tap lands in this deck are not very good, I think. Alright, do you have an answer? They should only really have 4 Unholy Heats. Or sorry, Prismatic Endings. They do have an ending, it looks like, which is fine. Alright, let's Bauble ourselves first. Have we ever forgot to reveal Lurrus? I think I forgot to reveal like an Obosh one time, but I don't think I've ever forgotten on Lurrus. Sprite Dragon, that is a threat I'd like to draw. So let's just draw it. They have Dispute in their hand? They're going to dispute because it looks like we're missing lands. They like 100% have Dispute here. Let's bottom both of these. Yeah, they just 100% have a Dispute, which is kind of a problem. They're just looking away. Maybe, I mean, sure, yeah, like they could just have been doing something, but I feel like I'm supposed to read it as Dispute. This kind of throws everything off. I wasn't playing Opt in my deck. It's another change that they made. I will die on the Murktide greater than Lurrus. Well, it's not just Lurrus, because Murktide also has tension with Delirium and has tension with Snapcaster Mage. Scott, thanks for the 1,500 bits, but it's awesome. Also, big congratulations to you, of course. Yeah, I really like the Bant Miracles list you put together. I might play in the challenge this weekend. Guess we'll just play Channeler with Counterspell up. I really liked the Bant Miracles list. I might play it in this weekend's challenge. Kind of undecided though. For whatever, they found 2 Murktide to be optimal, but yeah, but then at that point, like, is only 2 Murktide Regent like really worth not playing Lurrus? And it's like, it's not like those tensions even go away when you're only playing 2. You still have the same tensions. It's just like it's gonna come up less often because you're playing less of your non-Lurrus card. And I also like genuinely believe it's very difficult to play both Snapcaster Mage and Lurrus in the same deck. Or sorry, Snapcaster Mage and Murktide Regent in the same deck. Like, you can play Delve cards with let me use Charm here so I can go Dragon plus Counterspell next turn. This is like, we just kind of lose if they have land Bring to Light, but I think I'm supposed to not let this resolve. Sorry, I totally lost my yeah. Murktide Regent and Snapcaster play really poorly together because Regent wants you to actively exile every instant sorcery from your yard. 3 losses to Magus. I'd suggest 1 basic planes. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it for sure. My kind of thinking though is that even if you add the basic planes to the Miracles deck, are you really going to beat it that much more often? My thoughts on Brainstone. I think it's pretty good. I've been playing it in Bant Miracles. It's like, so like you'll have like 5 outs at the plains, so you need to get Plains Island before they can moon you. And then you also just have like, you know, counter spells and stuff for the moon effects, but I don't know. It's like, yeah, and then you also have Plains Counterspell Charm, which is like also like certainly attention. It's like, it's not a free thing by any means. So do I want to top this Dragon Rage's Channeler? I think no. Maybe. Yes. Yes, but I'm not gonna commit 2 threats onto a possible verdict. Could be Lurrus in my hand here. It's pretty bad against Bring to Light though. And I'll just bottom this. 2 of the losses I could have fetched white and have 2 different colors. Yeah, I mean it's also like, it's also definitely true that you're gonna lose games to the basic planes. You know what I mean? It's also definitely true that you'll lose games to having the planes in your Archmage's Charm counterspell deck. Colonnade is actually really good against the Channeler here. Yeah, I don't actually think I can play the Channeler anymore. Yeah, I know that having planes gives you access to 3 mana for Prismatic Ending on Blood Moon. I know. But it's... You only have 4 fetch lands and fetch planes. So you have to have like the ability to get that and the island, and it's also like, that means if you're doing that you can't cast Counterspell or Archmage's Charm that, and like on curve that game. Their hand is Lurrus, 2 mystery cards. Let me just cast the Ragavan, I guess. Is Red Phoenix the fastest way to farm leagues? I don't know. Affinity may be the fastest way to farm leagues. Dash plus Bolt, well... That, I don't like. I'm not like super anxious to just like spend my entire turn getting 2 for 1. Like a big thing about the Colonnade blocking here is they have to hold up the mana the whole time. I feel like Blue Red Phoenix with Regen is still probably the best version. I disagree. I've been really happy with Mono Red Phoenix, but if you're finding success, congratulations. I hope that continues. Yeah, so if they go Colonnade block, I'll play Channeler plus Bolt. My kingdom for an Unholy Heat. It's really bad if they have a counterspell. They probably do. One of their cards is Lurrus, but they have no card to get back with it. That resolves. They should have done that though. Keep counterspell. They should have done that after the Surveil, of course. Yeah, Ragavan has been bananas, as always. So we draw 2. If we draw a land underneath the counterspell or on our draw step, we have to go Lurrus with double counterspell up. And if they counter this, then maybe they're not countering the Lurrus. Cryptic Command like kind of punishes us. They're gonna draw 2 in response, which is like super fine. They counter this, so we don't get to go Counterspell Lurrus double Counterspell. We do get to go Lurrus Ragavan, which is bad against Supreme Verdict compared to Lurrus Bauble. But their hand is just Lurrus Mystery Card. I don't think I'm supposed to play around like one of like either their card in hand or their top deck being Verdict. Big turn. Oh man. Max punished. And that Castle Vantress is going to take over the game. Any comments on Dune, Da Vinci's Ragavan Asmo deck? It's good, I think. Haven't seen it in action, and it's also like probably like, especially when it's an unknown quantity, super difficult for anybody to play against. I bet they're not playing. I bet they're not playing Red or Black Source for Tybalt. Yeah, maybe we could play Evantress in the Bant deck. Could probably cut 4th Glacial Fortress for 1. I actually kind of want to try that. So let me, while I have that in my mind. Where is the deck though? I don't see it. I didn't delete it, did I? Alright, I'll just get back to that later, I guess. Playing Esper Blade tomorrow for Winterbox. Any thoughts going into it? I would, kind of recommend, if you feel like your metagame's gonna have a lot of creature decks, not main decking Esper Sentinel. You saw it? Am I just space? If you lose this fight, it's pretty bad, I think. Do we need to graveyard this? Need to find like draw 2s. There it is. Okay. I was looking great for that. Yeah, let me go ahead and cut the. I think we cut the 4th fortress for a castle. Another thing about the whole planes versus no planes, 1,000-year debate is the planes. It only really feels like it's going to be relevant against Blood Moon decks. I think against most non-Blood Moon decks, you're still wanting to fetch Fountain over basic planes. And so it's like, yes, it is better to have a planes in your matchup when you're playing against exactly Blood Moon decks, but it's better to not have a planes against literally every other matchup. Maybe that's a bit hyperbolic, but yeah, I mean, you could put a planes in the sideboard. I don't actually think that that's ridiculous. Yeah, that might be that might be the line. But it's also like if you put a planes in the sideboard, it might just be better to play another Aether Gust instead. Yeah, it's also like how many Blood Moons are there? There's some for sure, but the mana felt really good. I will say, like the mana felt really good with this deck yesterday and the day before. Like I really thought the mana here was great, and so I'm not like super keen on making the mana worse just to try to beat Moon. And it's also not clear to me that, like, I don't even feel like that plan consistently beats Moon. You have to have Flooded Strand or Basic Plains and another island effect and get those in play before they Blood Moon you, and I have Prismatic Ending, and then have them not have another Moon effect, which is going to happen, but it's not going to happen super consistently, probably. Am I still sold on Entreat? Yeah, Entreat's been pretty good. I think the deck does need an extra win condition also. And when you hear me say that, like, that should probably ring your ears, because I tend to play control decks with less win conditions than most other players, I think. Like, I tend to be, like, very light on win conditions compared to some people. So when I tell you that the deck needs like an Entreat the Angels as an extra win con, because just 2 Tibbles and a Lurrus doesn't get the job done every time, that should ring in your ear. And so, like, maybe you play a Colonnade. Ugh. Maybe you play, something else. But you should have another win condition besides just Lurrus and 2 Valkyries. Yeah, we tried like Glittering Wish. I don't think that I think that it's like a little too wheel spinny in this deck to play Glittering Wish, but you could for sure. Is this deck my baby? I mean, I've got a lot of babies. What about one Lumbering Falls? I get the idea that it's hexproof, but Colonnade like is better colors for you and is more powerful. But I would not recommend playing any manlands, because if you're gonna play the Triomes, like, there's just way too many tap lands if you're gonna play it, because you're gonna get a trap Triome on turn 1 a lot of the time. And if you're doing that, then it has a really huge cost, I think. There. I don't think we need to hold up Counterspell this turn. Let me just Serum. And graveyard that. Still need a creature, instant, or artifacts to get Delirium. I did miss it, John, but you can post in the chat and we can do it now. I could keep a Counterspell. Sorry. Let me turn off the sound there. Jojo, never played Modern, but become my favorite streamer. Thanks, Jojo. If you want to play Modern, I hope you get the chance someday. It is my favorite format. Yeah, there's really just not that much we need to hold up Counterspell for this turn, so I'm gonna get Lurrus in my hand, and then kind of just have that threatened. Blue-green upheaval. So one thing is I'll say that Pinted Prism is a very good ramp spell in this deck, in your Urza deck, in your Urza Thought Monitor deck. I would not play Growth Spiral. I play Pinted Prism. 4 Witching Well feels like way too many. But like the biggest issue with Upheaval in these decks, right, is that Upheaval is only good when you have Urza and a lot of mana in play. And so it's like, if that's the case, don't think I'm gonna force this, but I would have countered it. If that's the case, I don't think that you want to be playing Urza. Or sorry, I don't think you want to be playing Upheaval, because like if you have a ton of mana, and you have I guess let's hold up the charm here. Maybe I should just Snap Visions. Yeah, let's just Snap Visions, get tap Steam Vents. If you have a ton of mana and Urza, you're winning that game anyways most of the time. I think Upheaval is bad if you don't have both a ton of mana and Urza usually. And so because of that, I don't think it's where you want to be. But if you were going to build this deck, I'd be playing 4 Pinted Prism. I wouldn't be playing Hierarch. I wouldn't be playing Growth Spiral. I would be playing a Yavimaya to turn your islands into forest for Gingerbread Cabin. Also, 4 islands in your Gingerbread Cabin deck is like way too much, especially when you're not playing like any double blue card besides Urza. 4 islands is way too much. I wouldn't play the Rimwood Falls. If you're gonna play a tapped forest island, you should be playing a Triome, and that also makes your Engineered Explosives better. I would be playing more Engineered Explosives. I don't like Beast Within as a sideboard card. Everything else seems relatively fine. If you have a lot of mana, how much better is Cyclonic Rift? I mean, Upheaval is way better. It bounces their lands. That's the the big payoff. Opponent can't counterspell this if they have one. You can keep DRC. Yeah, I've been liking these lately. I'll probably switch back. I like to play with a lot of different arts. Do I think Miracles is better with Lurrus, or without Lurrus you can play Jace? I think it's better with Lurrus. Like Lurrus, like the only card you're losing is Jace. Jace would be good in this deck, but Lurrus is very, very good. I guess we're at 8 life and they've got the Colonnade. How many Colonnades are they playing? They've had one every game, I think. Counter my draw 2? Sure. It's pretty bad. I guess we don't have Delirium, actually. It's fine. It's so scary, though, if they just, like, activate Colonnade twice. This is so much better for us than them activating Colonnade twice. Counterspell's not bad. Yeah, Counterspell like maybe just lets this go like Lurrus hold up Counterspell. We saw Breeding Pool game 1, and they're a Lurrus deck, so I assume that they were playing something similar to my deck, which was playing Bring to Light for Valky. But we haven't seen a Bring to Light this entire match, and we haven't seen a Valky. So it's possible that the Gusts aren't good, but we did see Breeding Pool game 1. I have a Paper Bond tournament coming up. Any suggestions for a stacked control deck? I think I like the Bant Miracles control deck that I've been playing. Draw the second Gust. Is the Bring to Life Valky package clunky versus trying to go all in on Miracles, winning underneath and Retreat? I mean, going all in on a Retreat is also super clunky, but it's like you also like the Brainstones make it less clunky, and it is also true. Clunk is hard to quantify. Let's graveyard this. We can get it back with Lurrus, assuming we get to keep Lurrus. No Terminus, no Terminus, no Terminus, no Terminus. No Terminus, no Terminus, no Terminus. Hardcast Terminus is totally fine, though. In fact, it's like best possible, maybe. I guess we could have maybe attacked last turn because we just get to replay. Whatever. They concede. I don't know what their head's like. We saw Breeding Pool game 1. I thought for sure they were a Bring to Light deck. I don't know. Maybe they were. Their deck was weird. Blue-Red Delver win. This is a Blue-Red Delver deck that's better because it doesn't have Delver of Secrets in it. But it's just the same deck, but not playing Delver of Secrets, which is not playable. Okay, just Titan with Harvest. Interesting. I know Delver of Secret's been 5-0ing a bunch, but it's just like Sprite Dragon, Dragon Rage Channeler, Murktide Regent, Ragavan are all better threats than Delver, and there's just not room for Delver of Secrets in these decks. You actually have like 5 threats that are better than Delver. Like there's just no room. We won a crazy match against Titan at the beginning of this league. Feels like a long time ago now. I think we're going to win game 1 here. Yeah, finally time for Think Twice to shine again. So this was my sideboard plan earlier. I think you could play 1 explosives, but I'm going to leave them at home. That Holy Heat just kills everything. Yeah, Delver is, of course, 350 tickets less than Monkey. That's its biggest strength. You know, and like Delver is not like, it's not like the card is terrible in the stack. It fits the archetype well. It'll get the job done if you want a budget option. But Channeler, Ragavan, Sprite Dragon, Murktide Regent are all better threats than Delver. And you just can't play more than like 14, 15 threats in these decks. Don't love this hand. What about running Delver and Ragavan together? What are you cutting to make room, right? It's like, again, Channeler is better than Delver. Sprite Dragon's better than Delver. You really can't play too many more threats than that. Like 16 threats is just way too many. What a mulligan. Alpine Moon doesn't strip mine sagas like Spreading Season Blood Moon, or does it? It does. I guess I should have forced that. It does, that's why we're playing it. It was Summoner's Pact on top, so maybe we can save Force for that. Our draw's kind of bad, though. Kind of an awkward mulligan. I have tried Murktide Regent in the deck. I think that Murktide Regent is, you know, it's it has tension with your Delirium. You cannot play Snapcaster and Murktide Regent together, in my opinion. Or if you play, you can maybe play 1 or 2 Snapcasters, but Murktide Regent and Snapcaster have a ton of tension where you have to actively exile all your instants and sorceries from your yard. And like you also, of course, don't get Lurrus as a companion, and Lurrus is nuts. So I don't think that it's good to play. I don't think that it's good to play Regent, but I have tried it. Second Channeler is kind of interesting. I think I'm gonna graveyard it. It's also a type for Delirium. Oh, you know what I should have done is I should have kept the Bauble uncracked. Should have kept it. Oh no, I guess we couldn't. We can't get Delirium this turn anyways. Never mind. We can let this go. We should be able to Unholy Heat Dryad, and so they have to pay for the pact next turn. Yeah, Surveil on a red card is a bit weird, but it's fine. I kind of like that design space of, you know, adding a keyword to a card in a different color combo. Okay, float mana pass. They're dead to Alpine Moon. Yeah, since they're dead to Alpine Moon, and I also like do kind of need to Unholy Heat this. We do have Delirium now. I just want to make sure that I can play my thing. Do I put a land in my hand or Snapcaster? I think just lands. Land, bottom, exile, heats, bottom. I bought the blue-red monkey based on your videos. Love the deck based on what I saw. How do you feel about Teamer with Goyf? It's an option. But I think that Goyf is probably worse than all the other threats in the deck. And I don't like, you maybe cutting Snapcasters for like a couple copies of Goyfs, which just doesn't really feel that worth it to me. I think I just want to cast the Ragavan instead of dash, just not have to sink my mana into it every turn. But you could try it out, probably pretty fun. Like if you really like the idea of that deck, I'd recommend playing it, but it's probably not as good as this. Especially because you lose Lurrus. I mean, you don't lose Lurrus, but it's like way harder to cast. I mean, Lurrus is so good that even if you're Teamer, I would still play Lurrus as a companion to have like the outside chance to cast it off Ragavan. Like, I still think Lurrus, like, having that out is better than your 15th sideboard card. I have a playset of all the creatures in this deck except for the 4th Sprite Dragon. What can I play instead of the 4th Dragon? 3rd Snapcaster Mage, probably. But also, Sprite Dragon's not that expensive, so I would recommend picking it up, right? It's an uncommon. It's not like $10 uncommon. Snapcaster is more expensive, you know? It feels weird to me to like recommend a more expensive card. But I actually feel like you probably have a 3rd Snapcaster and not a 4th Dragon. My opponent's like, they didn't concede to Primeval Titan? Maybe it's a foil dragon. I have the Godzilla dragons. This is crazy. 1 mana on 1 mana, your Primeval Titan's dead. Man. Holy Heat is something else. It's pretty good. Let's go to attack first. Exile Yavimaya. We'd love to find Aether Gust or Alpine Moon. Those are our best hits. So let me just graveyard anything that's not those cards. I guess we're going to go Snapcaster Heat. Snap Heat. Do I want to draw Bauble or just put a land in play? I feel like both are pretty close. Put the land in play, I guess. Sinkhole saw a little bit of play, but Heat is a lot better than Sinkhole. I remember when I first put Unholy Heat in this deck, someone was like, why play Sinkhole over, or why play Unholy Heat over Sinkhole? I think that just kind of like continues to prove that players are just so like in their card evaluations, players are so biased towards old cards compared to new cards. Yeah, people when evaluating cards tend to think new cards are less powerful than they are, and then old cards are more powerful than they are. Well, easy force. Do I fetch to not mess with the Surveil? I don't think I'm just gonna force, I think. Shouldn't really matter that much. Do you think you can play Heat in a deck with just creature, instant, sorcery creatures? Just creature, instant, sorcery creatures. Nope, that's only 3 types. It's only 3 types. B Snipes, thank you for your Twitch Prime. Appreciate you, buddy. I mean, I'm going to go for the kill here. Burn the Grazer to death with Unholy Heat. This Surveil ability, this is an absurd ability to just like smooth out your draw steps for the rest of the game. All right, beat Titan twice that league, lost to Mono Red Prowess. I'm gonna play one more league of this monkey deck, and then I have a Naiad Squirrel Blade deck that I want to play. Let me just pull that up since I pulled it up earlier, but I know I've been teasing like another Squirrel Blade deck. And I had like a lot of different drafts. They're like